Hello, my lovely toads, and welcome again to the Mario Kart track ranking series. Now, yes, I know that I just concluded part 4 of the series of... I was not ready to record, inherently. Now, I know that I just concluded the Mario Kart 8 series literally 2 days ago, but I don't know. Because that fully edited version of that video is going to take a while, I thought that it'd be good if I just moved on to Mario Kart 7 so that I can get that edited. And partially because I do have a decent amount to talk about with this entry. Now, with that out of the way, the other elephant in the room is the fact that these don't have labels. I literally don't know why, but it is really annoying. Now, we're going to be watching this video from this channel called Toad Rules Plays. It's a really interesting channel. I'd recommend you check it out. So our first track is, of course, Toad Circuit. Which, as you know, in the Booster Course Pass, this track was really infamous. I mean, why did they return this track? But in this game, as a starter track, I don't know, it's fine, it's harmless. Let's go through it, shall we? And right off the bat, this footage, as you can see, my totally real 3DS has some really good graphics, way better than your typical totally real 3DS. So thank you to the Nitro team for making this really nice 3DS update. But yeah. Not really much to say in terms of layout. One thing that you'll note is that because this is in 150cc instead of 200cc like the previous video, it definitely feels a lot slower. But yeah. I mean, nothing really special happens with the layout. Ooh, you go under a bridge. That's never happened in a circuit track before. But the Toad balloons look really nice. I was hoping I was going to pause on a frame where you could actually see it. But yeah. The only other thing to note is the fact that the glider ramp opens up. That little thing that you saw on the floor earlier turns into a glider ramp, which is a nice way to introduce the game's mechanics, I will say. As a starter track, it's pretty solid, but as a track, I mean, where else do I put it but C tier? Like, it doesn't do anything bad, but it doesn't really do anything substantially noteworthy either. It's just a solid start to the game. But what about the music? Is that solid? As you can see, this version of the soundtrack includes the Final Lap version, so it's also in a kind of annoying order. But we'll worry about that later. For now, Toad Circuit. I mean, it's the same solid song that it was in the What did I rank this an 8 again? Here, just for you, I'm giving you a sneak peek of the document that I'm using for this. So what did this song rank in 7? Or in this game? Yeah, I think C tier makes sense. So, yeah. It's not terrible, but it is at the end of the day a generic circuit theme. Is on the better side of them, but that's not really saying much because of what it has to compare to. But yeah. Oh, I guess there's no Mushroom Cup. That's a bummer. Anyway. Let's move on to Daisy Hills. I mean, just looking at this, it doesn't really look like anything that special. Oh my god, that luck! That sucks. Yeah, one thing that you'll see is that I actually had some pretty crummy luck during this footage at times. But yeah, anyway, just a simple uphill. There is a mushroom shortcut there to the left if you saw. So I'm going to go over there. It was where the goat butt was. Yeah, right there to the left. You see it? I don't know. I feel like it is a cool idea for a mushroom shortcut, but it's on screen for so little time that you wouldn't even notice it unless you were like pausing. What is a cool hidden mushroom shortcut though is up here. Since I got a star, I'll probably show it off. Yep, inside of this grass, a keen eye may notice that there is a path down here, which may not seem like that big of a shortcut, but it helps you with this part with the windmills, which you don't have to go through, but it does benefit your game pretty decently if you do. And I really like that windmill shortcut because it's not really that well telegraphed. So because of that, it's up to you to figure it out, which is pretty cool. In fact, that section in general does have a lot of really interesting paths, but I don't know. I think what mainly lowers this one is the theme. It's not really the most exciting theme in the world or anything. It's just, you know, hills, windmills, town. And the track design, apart from that one part, isn't really anything special either. But what about the music? Can that at least lift this? Because this game has not really been scoring that well so far. I mean, it is a decently catchy song, you know? It's a B tier. It is a decent listen, honestly. Just not really anything special, but for what it is a nice listen. Now let's go to the non-existent Cheep Cheep Lagoon. There's clams. Oh, the cave actually looks really nice. You know, maybe this track won't be so bad. I mean, it doesn't seem terrible or anything. So right off the bat, we get a nice little right turn. You can tell I am really 100% prepared for this stream, huh? With my monotone voice and the fact that I'm not really going into much detail. I mean, I told myself I was going to stream at 2, and even then I wasn't really feeling it that much, but I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Bad luck, and the clams are a pretty cool obstacle, but I think the issue with the clams is less that they're not cool, and it's more so the fact that, like, you just go through one section, and then they never appear again, the rest of the track spoilers. So then, you know, you go through this. I like to go down there and hit that dash panel, personally. And, yeah, that was Cheep Cheep Lagoon, alright. You cannot take that away from it. It's not terrible, but, like, this is one of the most nothing beach tracks in the entire series. Going underwater was not enough of a shake-up to make it anything more than C tier. What about the music, though? Can the music at least lift this one? Also, is the music only playing out of the left headphone to anyone else, or is that just me? Actually, my headphones in general are kind of faulty right now. I was talking so much about my headphones because I have nothing to say about the song. Not bad, but one of the most generic beach themes you could possibly think of. So yeah, that was Cheap Cheap Lagoon. Probably the weakest, one of the weakest tracks in the entire series, honestly. Luckily, it does pick up, though, with Shy Guy Bazaar. I mean, first of all, you can already tell that visually this track is absolutely striking. And you get to the best part of the track right off the bat. This Bizarre section is awesome. Even ignoring how awesome it looks visually, there's so many different routes you can take and such. This route right here is the fastest, but other routes are still really fun. I'm not a huge fan of this section with the sharp turns though, but that's just me in general, you know? There's also that little route over there that you may not have even noticed when playing. And you go off of these bumps with these fireworks, and holy cow, this section looks nice. We're gliding down. Yeah, and I even got to end the lap in first. That's nice. It's another one that's on the more basic side, but, you know, for a finale of Mushroom Cup, it's actually pretty dang good. I mean, yeah, I'd say it's worthy of A tier. It's a really good theme, and it's executed pretty well. It has a somewhat weak middle, but it makes up for it by a pretty dang good end. And the music? Okay, the real question of the day, because I know it's going in B tier. The real question is does it go where is it? If they were labeled and in the right order, maybe this would be a lot easier. There it is. I think it goes in B tier under Daisy Hills. It's a solid bop, but I feel like Daisy Hills is just a bit more up my alley. This one is good, but it's not really anything that I would consider very special. So yeah. gotta say, this is a pretty weak offering so far. 7 really did not start off the best with this Mushroom Cup. I mean, the final track is an A tier, but like, at that point, you've already played 3 C tier tracks. And even then, it's not a very high A tier. Hopefully things pick up with Flower Cup. So yeah, Wii Sports Resort. I mean, who doesn't love Wii Sports, right? And luckily, this track really, it does live up to the hype quite a bit. Oh, probably should have Sorry, I was distracted by the fact that you can see the edge of my border, or Toadrule's Place's border. Yeah, going off this bridge is pretty fun. Oh, it's cool that you get to see the Wii blend. It's almost like the 3DS is trying to be the Wii 2 or something. But anyway. Well, that just sucks. But anyway. Wait, when did the bombs blow up that quickly? Anyway, ramps and... yeah. I do like that split path back there. In general, you can actually see a lot of options to vary this track up. Like that precarious path that you would only take if you're a madman. Or if you don't know how hard it actually is, like my young self. Well that's... Say it with me, guys. That sucks! They really like those things that I just passed, don't they? Well, whatever, they do make for a fun way to split the track so that more chaos ensues. I forgot just how short that third lap is in this version. What do I mean by that? You'll see later in this stream. But for now, I actually do think this is a really solid tribute to Wii Sports. Where is it? It's probably one of the last ones. Yeah, right here. Definitely going at the top of A tier so far. It's just a really loving tribute to Wii Sports Resort. And the music? Surely the music can live up to the track itself, right? Okay, now for the first track that we do not have a new song for. One of two. Say hello to Mario Circuit, the fan favorite Mario Circuit in this game. Well, the fan favorite Mario Circuit in general. It's very easy to see why, honestly, as we'll go through. Like, Mario Circuits have always been kind of generic, so it's kind of cool when you get one like this where it feels like there was actually a decent amount of effort put into it. I cannot catch a break, can I? Fun fact, we're not going to look at it in this video, but at the end, something stupid happens where I go from first inside of the finish line to 6th. Yeah. This section is a little weak. I mean, you can bounce off that mushroom, and as you see, that is like the worst mushroom shortcut ever, when you can just do one bunny hop and then you can make it to it. Also, yes, as you can see, you enter Peach's castle, which is awesome, but maybe I'm just bad, but I'm not really a huge fan of the way the turn is done. That said, this part's pretty cool, where you glide and you can avoid the Goombas by going off of that dash ramp. And then there's the pipe that you go in, but this one turns. Future or previous Mario Circuits also used this pipe, but I think this one used it to the best extent. I mean, it's nothing special. A Mario Circuit is probably never going to rank higher than B tier, so yeah. B tier. And because there's no new music to look at, let's just move on to the next track. You ready for this one again? It's been a hot minute since we covered this one, since that was whenever I did the retro tracks for Mario Kart 8. God, how long ago was that? But we get to re-experience one of the best tracks that Mario Kart has ever created, Music Park. I mean, first of all, just look at this and tell me that doesn't look fun. But ignoring that, like, there is so much motion in the background in this track, it really helps it feel alive. And even the piranha plants in this section are bobbing their heads just how awesome this is. And as you probably already noticed, the instruments also, like the instruments that you drive on also to play sounds. That's awesome. Then there's this really cool section. I personally prefer to not use the glider because I'm not sure if it's faster or not, but it just feels faster to bounce in with these little musical notes. By the way, they're just so jolly. How could you not love them? But yeah, I mean, what's there to say that hasn't already been said several times? This is a really good track. As you can, this game really needed that first really good track, and I feel like this game, or this one, really delivers. Obvious S tier. And the music, you already heard it in the Mario Kart 8 one, but let's listen to it again just because it would be dumb to not cover it. Hey, remember in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe when the A tier was like absolutely filled to the brim. Funny how now this time around we're getting our first A tier song. It's still nothing amazing on its own, but in the track, it really helps you get into the mood. I love the addition of the trumpets in the background, keeping the rhythm. And I mean, how could you not love it? Such a great idea for a track executed so perfectly. And finally, a kind of meh finish, if you ask me. So Rock Mountain actually does have a lot of fans. I think I may have covered that when I covered this in 8 Deluxe, but yeah, a lot of people really love this track. And I'm kind of, I think it's decent. I don't hate it, I don't love it. That was just chaos. Yeah. I mean, that glider section is really cool when you leave through the pipes, even if it is really easy. And there are some kind of fun cuts that you can take with the glider, like this one if you're a daredevil. I gotta say, like, there's a mushroom shortcut over to the side that you probably didn't even notice, but as you see by what Rosalina just did, it's a little broken. But it's not terrible. And that section where you boost up and avoid the rocks is actually pretty cool. But at the end of the day, I feel like that section at the end and the glider section down the hill are really all this track has to offer. Other than that, it's just fine. The aesthetic is fine. It's a B tier. And the music, this is supposedly the thing that really sells the track. Where did I rank this in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? Yeah, let's listen to it. It's just a really nice, solid bop. It's a real enjoyable song there. That's a way that I can say that without saying solid bop. Overall, Flower Cup was a decent step up from... Did I forget to rank a track? No, okay, I just can't do math. Anyway... But yeah, as you can see, the track selection, it definitely picked up with Flower Cup, but it still hasn't really wowed me that much yet. But luckily, we have this game Star Cup, which I gotta say, people would praise how great Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's Star Cup is, but this game is actually pretty dang good as well. I feel like it's where the game really picks up in quality. I mean, the Retro Mario aesthetic actually looks really cool. you know, Nintendo likes to do this retro aesthetic occasionally, and it looks really nice. Plus, there's a lot of flowing water, which you could argue is a derivative of Koopa Cape, but like, if you're gonna steal from a track, you might as well steal from one of the greats. Then you go on that dash panel. Why did I even need to comment on that? Oh, I forgot to mention, the blue... Earlier we passed through Blue Goombas, which was not a part of the 8 Deluxe version for some reason. Isn't that weird? Anyway. It'd be best to say that mushroom... Why did I use it there? Whatever. Let's see if I can... Oh, nope, I'm just gonna take the normal route. Because, yeah, that mushroom shortcut is pretty cool, though. Dashing through that cardboard cutout of a bush can be pretty fun. A really good track. Just really well designed, and the aesthetic is actually pretty pleasing. Good A, solid A. What about that music, though? What is that melody, as some people would say? Now, some will note that this doesn't sound quite as techno as the 8 version, but I don't know, I think both versions are really good in their own ways. So yeah, StarCraft is off to a really good start, and then we get a forgettable but really enjoyable track in Wario's Shipyard. It's really weird to think about because, like, this track theoretically should be a really memorable one. You know, it's a Mario Kart track themed around a Wario pirate area. So it's kind of odd that it's not really the most memorable, but I actually do really enjoy it. As you'll see, the section right here, the road is pretty wavy, which kind of messes with the traction in your cart. That's a kind of neat way to make it a bit more challenging. And 7's physics engine really helps adapt to that kind of change. But, Luigi, why did you steal that coin from me? Anyway. Oh yeah, you probably noticed that I've actually been playing as a different character in each of the cups. Total, yeah, I can't keep that up. But anyway, going off that pipe is pretty fun. You can theoretically trick off of it, but I've never been able to pull that off. Also, this Wario pendulum, which can actually genuinely be kind of tough. I usually go to the right there, but I didn't this time around because, I don't know. These crabs are also a fairly tough obstacle. But then you get to this part where you're soaring through the ships, and that's actually really cool. And it's followed up by this, by getting more. Am I still gonna do the jump though? Yeah! I like this one. It's not one that I think I would actively choose, but I enjoy it. A tier. If I say A tier, then, or if I say the tier that's going in, I'll be able to see it. God dang it. Yeah, I'm not a fan of how they sorted this. Does it go above or below? I think it goes above Woohoo Loop. Just because I think it's a bit more interesting. The music, though, well, we'll see what I think of that. So apparently they implemented a lot of motifs from the Wario Land series. I wouldn't be able to point them out to you because, sorry, but I haven't really played a lot of Wario Land, but it is kind of cool. Well, not really cool, but an interesting tidbit. Yeah, okay, I'll play it. Sorry, but as good as the track is, I just don't really care for the music all that much. I think I know the perfect spot for it. Yeah, that seems right. It at least is moderately more interesting than Cheep Cheep Lagoon, but it's not really saying much. But luckily we get Neo Bowser City. It's either a really great track or a really terrible track, depending on who you ask, and as you remember from my Mario Kart 8 Deluxe ranking, I'm somewhere in the middle. Though I will say, this track is a lot more stunning looking in this game than it is in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I know that Shay Frillis said that this track looks like Metroid Prime Federation Force, which I will never forgive him for saying, but, like, I still like him, I'm just never gonna forgive him. But it is a really cool idea to have a track take place in this futuristic setting. And I feel like they really pulled off the visuals of this track so perfectly. Look at the way the rain splatters on the floor. That's genuinely awesome. Whoops. To be fair, I'm not used to playing as heavyweights. This garage section looks pretty cool. I will say that little gust of wind back there. I'm not sure if the 8 Deluxe version has that, but it really helps with the aesthetic in this version. Then, there are definitely roads. Then there's this section right here. This section right here with the super tight turns. I've heard a lot of people complain about this section, and I do see the complaint. Those turns are really sharp for a track that's otherwise really easy, and I can imagine, especially on 200cc in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, just finding it annoying and hating it. But I think in this game, they're manageable, and yeah, I'm not really sure what else to say on that front. I do like this section with the puddles a decent amount. The way they're placed is really meticulous feeling. And then you can veer off to the side. It's a tough track for me to rate because it has a really strong end, but the rest of it is just C tier, so I think middle of B tier is a good... I think bottom of B tier. A really strong ending, but just kind of mediocre the rest of the way. It kind of lowers it. Also, the difficulty spike. Yeah, that's not really that great design. It is a bummer because the visuals of this one are stunning for this game. And the music, well, let's just listen to it. it's a really cool mixture of a bunch of different songs. I like it. In the words of Bugs Bunny, I like it. A tier. I think it was here. Back to this list. Yeah, okay. So it did end up ranking there. And I don't see a point of changing it because it's not like... I feel about the same of the 7 and 8 versions of the songs. Though 8 did return a lot of the best songs from this game. Not Woohoo Loop, though. And speaking of Woohoo... Woohoo! Time for Maka Woohoo. What a great way to end a cup. If you liked Woohoo Loop, this is basically more of that, but even better. So let's just get on with it, because... yeah. This section right here with the branching roads is kind of cool. It's still nothing amazing, but to be fair, this game... like, to be fair, the Woohoo tracks aren't really trying to shake the world or anything. Oh. I guess the red shell just ignored him? Well, anyway. This cave section is a nice aesthetical change, but there's still nothing really that special happening yet. At the end of the day, it's kind of just more of the same so far, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, since the previous one is pretty good. Though there isn't any oncoming traffic, which I can see being a deal breaker for some. Also, you can enter the water here, but I always forget, and I almost did for this footage. There's also that mushroom shortcut to the left through the castle, which is actually a pretty hefty boost, but in turn also makes you skip a few item boxes, which is a pretty fair payoff, honestly. But then we get to the part that everyone remembers about this track. Rushing up the mountain with these falling rocks is pretty dang satisfying, just like it was in Rock Mountain. I did that oh my god, that was literally every item that it could have been. But yeah, here it comes. The moment of the track. It's the sunset in the distance, you go off the glider. There are so many options. You can go to the left there for those item boxes, you can dive down there. You can just not fully commit to either and look like a complete idiot. The decision is all yours. I mean, the first and second laps are both eh. It's interesting because people kind of debate on whether Woohoo Loop or Maka Woohoo is better. I feel like it only makes sense to rank them around the same spot because they are fairly similar in quality. But I prefer Maka Woohoo just because of that third lap. I could understand why that may not be enough to redeem the track for some people, but for me it is more than enough. Enough to justify this track's existence. No new music this time, which is the last time in the video that's gonna happen. So, time for DK Jungle. This one was also an 8. In fact, only one track in the Special Cup is not an 8. Though this version was actually nerfed in 8, something I don't think I noticed in my initial stream. They removed the frogs in one section, and they also, just in general, kind of nerfed it. Or they made the TV slower. This time I'm Rosalina because, well, there was a Galaxy track. Because, you know, this is the one with the Rainbow Road and another, and I already used Bowser. It's cool that they use that flower as the bouncing mushroom in this level. In fact, looking back at it, the bouncing mushrooms in this game are basically 8's branching paths. This game loves sections where you go off a ramp and then bounce off of a mushroom. Yeah. I will say one nitpick that I have is that mushroom shortcut to the left. It is just objectively the better path to take. Even if you don't have a mushroom, you'll avoid the frogs. And even if you don't stay on, you still avoid quite a bit. But yeah, that dash panel section right there is pretty satisfying. Somewhat reminiscent of Shy Guy Bazaar's section, but, you know, it's cool. The golden banana's awesome. And then I quite like these screaming. Well, none of them screamed for us until we drove past them. But the screaming things do cause for a nice backdraft obstacle. It's kind of sad that future Mario Kart games didn't really capitalize on how good the glider is. Yeah, just a solid A tier. And I gotta say, this cup is doing really good for itself so far. Yeah, I think I convinced myself to put it down here. But still, really good cup so far. Can't wait to see what the rest of it has to offer. Yeah. Alright. Oh yeah, we have to listen to the music. I knew I was forgetting something. What the? I mean, I like bees and all, but they shouldn't be prioritized over the rest of the tracks. And then these are on the... Why is this arranged like this? Whatever, DK Jungle. The bass at the end is what keeps us at the top of C tier, but like, it's just a boring remix of a Donkey Kong song. What else do I say? Where did I rank? Yeah, huh. Yeah, sure enough. I'm not sure if I agree with that, but it's too late to go back. I don't feel like doing that right now. Now it's time for one of my most unpopular opinions. I actually really like Rosalina's Ice World, which I already covered this unpopular opinion in my Mario Kart 8 Deluxe stream literally 2 days ago, but I feel like it's necessary to comment on this again. People complain that the Galaxy references are forced, and that it makes this track really highlights just how little there actually is to this track. I do understand what they're saying to an extent. I mean, it's not like this track, a track that really encapsulates Galaxy would be cool, but like, that ditch section over there was pretty cool. This section where you can drive on the edges for coins if you're an idiot is pretty neat. This section right here looks a little bit more natural in the 8 version, which is one complaint that I have here. Like, you can clearly see that something's going to happen on future laps, but don't look at me like that, Rosalina. I'm not trying to criticize your course. Please don't kill me. Anyway, because of the ice physics thing, up here can actually be kind of difficult. Why do cons always want to hug my butt? Anyway. Yeah, then the split path section. As you can see, the dash panels are actually closer to the walls in this version, so they're a little tougher to hit. Yeah. Just gonna skip ahead because you already know this. I will say, though, the section is a lot more impressive in this version because in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because it has 200cc, you could just jump that gap in 200cc and it kind of takes away a bit of the fun of that change between laps. But, like, it's just a really solid track. I gotta say, this game is really picking up in its track selection. After the mediocrity that was Mushroom and Flower Cup, it's nice to see the game really start to pick up and just deliver banger after banger after banger. And the music? Well, I already complained about the audio balancing in the first half. Like, that piano does provide some nice bass, but it's way too loud. Could they not turn it down, like, a little bit? So yeah, with the somewhat weak first half, but a really solid second half, this one is definitely going in B tier. Also, isn't it nice seeing how the song's ranked? I think it is. So yeah, B tier. Yeah. It is going at the top of B tier, though. It's a really pleasant one. So, that was another really good track, which seems to be an unpopular opinion, but, well, I should be allowed my own opinions, right? Bowser's Castle time, and the consensus of this Bowser's Castle is that it's one of the most underwhelming in the series. A part of me does agree. I mean, Jay Frillis made a really good point about this track, where it really lacks that one gimmick that really makes it stand out. And kind of just feels like a mess of a bunch of half-baked ideas, but... well, we'll see what I think of it, because this initial gliding is pretty fun, where you can choose either the lower or higher route that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's Twisted Mansion totally didn't rip off. Then... sad. Well, anyway. Go through this little tunnel. Yeah. This section where you're going underwater with these lava pillars is actually pretty dang cool, both visually and gameplay-wise. So, yeah. This section right here is kind of weak in my opinion. I can see what they were going for, but I don't know. I don't think it's the most interesting. Then a spiral that kind of makes you have to rock back and forth a bit, but the curve of it actually makes it difficult. But then there's this really cool section where you can go off to the sides. Honestly, the more and more I talk about it, the more and more I actually do really like this Bowser's Castle. It does feel a little aimless, but it's enjoyable. Probably the bottom of A tier, but it's still a really good one. Though I gotta say, this, and this are all A-, so... take that what you will. My streaming is working, right? Okay. Because, like, I haven't gotten a single comment in the live chat so far, so I was wondering if anyone even tuned in. Turns out a few people did. That's nice, thanks. But the music... And there's this really cool reference to Mario Kart Double Dashes. God, I love it so much. I don't think it's quite S tier worthy for me, but I mean, it's not Mario Kart 8's Bowser's Castle levels of great, but it is dang close, honestly. I just love every second of it. Now, one last track, the final stop of the day. It's kind of sad that we have to go right when it's picking up, but luckily it ends on a really strong note. And I think that's just true with 7 in general. It starts off kind of weak, but just picks up more and more as it goes. I mean, just look at this. That Stargate right off the bat. All of these planets to show you that this is really going to be an experience. Getting absolutely Mario Karted off the side. Then... yeah. Soaring around planets. Looking at the stars. It starts off pretty solid, but I mean, at the beginning, you may not really understand why everyone loves this track so much. Since nothing really special has happened, it's not really been that brutally difficult. Oh, well, that's a bummer. I don't even know what route that blue shell took. Anyway, avoid the bee, which everyone is so glad that Honey Queen's in this game, right? Everyone? Yeah. Drifting around the rings of Saturn. I never actually noticed that it even makes it a unique sound when you drift on it. Yeah. I like the way the road bends here with the dash pads because it could make you careen off the edge if you're not paying enough attention. But then the part that everyone loves, go through that wavy road with the cheese graters before landing on the moon. This part is so special feeling. The music change, the chain chomps. And by the way, this variation of the song is just majestic. The Mario Kart 8 Deluxe version wishes it could hit as hard as that does. Also, another thing to notice that these roads when you drive on them make a sound effect, and I don't think they do in the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe version. And that tube. I accidentally flew a little too high. And these all give you slight elevation when you go through them because this part slopes down, so... yeah, someone ended up passing me and I didn't end up getting the item. Well, I don't know what they were planning there, but that was pretty stupid of them to throw the shell off the cliff. Over there you can do a trick to get ahead, as I probably should have, but I'm always too scared to try. But that did end up costing me it. And it was so close, too. But, yeah. Just a really good Rainbow Road. There's a reason why everyone why so many people rank this as their favorite Rainbow Road. It is just chef's kiss. And that music, let's listen to that music. I mean, it's just so gorgeous. You go from this spectacle of a song to just this really quaint, but just as much of a spectacle. It's so good. It is mouth-wateringly good. In fact, I think I convinced myself that it's deserving of S tier. that is that is actually really good. I was a little bummed at the beginning. In hindsight, I wasn't really thinking much of the tracks, but the more it went on, the more it really started to improve, and that is just really good. It's just Mario Kart 7 to me. It starts off kind of weak, but the more it goes on, the more just amazing it starts to get. So, that's my overall thoughts on Mario Kart 7. Kind of surprised. I actually remember when I was first ranking the tracks, they were a lot less than A tier, but the more and more I re-ranked it, the better and better it got. So, yeah. That'll be it, guys. I've reviewed every single track, so I hope you enjoy and have the best day.